I'm Mr. Paulos. Today we will learn about introducing ourselves. So let's begin from the first one, what greeting means. Before I told you what greeting means, I'm going to ask you what greeting means. Do you know what greeting means? Tell to your friends. All right. So let's see the first one, greeting. You know what greeting means? Simply, greeting means it is a way of salutation for asking for the goodwill of others, or it is simply a welcoming or a recognition for others. So when we talk about greeting, you may use different expressions. Before we use these expressions, let's see some types of greeting one by one. The first one is formal greeting. This formal greeting is used for elderly and respected peoples. Simply, we use formal greeting used for elderly and respected peoples. Elderly means peoples who are older age or aging peoples. And respected means in terms of their education or the peoples who are knowledgeable more than us. So that's what we call it, respected peoples. In addition to this, when we use formal greeting, we add some titles. You know what titles means? All right. Titles are like Ato, Wezero, Doctor, Mr., Madam, etc. are some examples of titles. So when we use formal greeting or when we greet people formally, we use these titles before their names. Let me give you some examples. How are you, Dr. David? Or good evening, Mr. Samson. Or good afternoon, Ato Alem. So, as you understand from the expression, you have to use formal way of greeting by showing our respect for those people. So these are what we call it formal greeting. Let's proceed to the second greeting. The second one is informal greeting. Can you guess what informal greeting means? As you understand from the expression informal, we use informal greeting for peoples or our relatives, friends, our classmates, or our family. And etc. We use this informal greeting for people who are very close to us, okay? That's what we call it, informal greeting. So when we talk about informal greeting, you may use different kinds of expression. Simple expression like hi, hello, Hi there. How is everything? Evening. What's up? This is a contraction form. You know contraction form? We will discuss on it lastly, okay? So, what's up? So simply, you may use this different kinds of expression for informal greetings. So based on this, let's see some examples. Simply, hi, Danny, with their nicknames, okay? Assume that Danny is your classmate. So, hello, friends. Or, hey, Sami. So these are simply what we call it informal greetings, informal greetings. So now, based on this different expression, I'm going to ask you to greet your friends by the two formal and informal greetings. So what you have to do is assume that one of you are A and one of your colleagues or classmates is B. A, B. So based on this, try to greet formally. Try to greet formally your friends in the class and told to your teacher. Again, in addition to formally, you have to make another simple dialogue informal way. Assume that you are A and B. So try to make a dialogue based on the two formal and informal greetings with your classmate or with your colleagues for 2 minutes, and we will continue to the rest of our lesson. Fine. Now, let's proceed to the next topic about introduce oneself. You know, introduce oneself means assume that you are a newcomer for the class. So how to introduce for your friends or for your colleagues in the class? So when you introduce yourselves, it's not enough to mention only your names or your father names and something, but at least you have to mention a lot of things about yourself when you introduce yourselves. Like, my name is, I am, at least you have to tell your age, okay? I am blank years old. And in addition to this, you can say I am from the place you are coming from, okay? This is a contraction form, I am, okay? I am from Bethel, the place you are coming from. And you have to mention about your family matters. My father name is blank. And you can continue. He is, you have to tell about his career or jobs, okay? He is a merchant. My mother name is blank. You have to fill your mother name, okay? And she is a housewife. You know what housewife means? A housewife means simply your mom is doing a lot of courses or activities in your home, like take care of your children or you. That's what we call it, a housewife. If she is a nurse, you can say she is a nurse. If she is an accountant, you can say she is an accountant, okay? So you have to use your own mother jobs or carer, okay? In addition to this, I am or I have 2 brothers and a sister. Simply, it means that the boy or the student have 2 brothers. If he have 2 or 3 brothers, you can say 3 brothers. And a sister means 1 sister, okay? If you have 3 sisters or 4 sisters, you can add the number simply. And you can mention their names in addition to this, okay, if it is necessary. And then you can say a lot of things like about yourself. I like to play football. This is a kind of play that the boy loves or most of the boys loves. Or playing games. Or I like watching movies. You can mention a lot of things that you may like. And in addition to this, you can say my favorite food is shiro or doro what? Or you can mention a lot of food that you may like you can say rice, burger, pizza, something that you like, okay? And also the kind of food that, the kind of drink that you may like. My favorite again. My favorite drink is milk simply. Or Coca-Cola, or different kinds of soft drinks, okay? So this is how to describe about yourself. In addition to this, at the end of about yourself, at least you have to mention your ambition. You know what ambition means? Can you guess what ambition means? Fine. Your ambition means something that you like to be in the future, okay? That's what we call it, ambition. So lastly, you can say, I want to be a merchant. I want to be a merchant. I want to be a pilot, okay? I want to be an engineer. I want to be a doctor. So this is your last word when you introduce yourself. So this is simply how to introduce yourself. So now assume that based on the expressions that I gave you, try to describe or told about yourself for the class. Okay? So activity. Write about yourself as a as a paragraph form, okay, and at least use more than 30 words, okay. So based on the expressions that I give you, try to write about yourself as a paragraph form using more than 13 words, okay. This is the activity that I gave you for today. Before we finish our lesson, let me summarize some points that we discussed today. The first one is, as I told you, greeting. Greeting means simply it is a way of salutation, asking for the goodwill of others. So you have to keep this on your mind. And again, greeting means simply used for elderly or aged or older people, and again respected peoples, by adding different kinds of titles based on the titles that those people deserve, okay, like titles like doctor, an engineer, Ato, Mr., Madam. So you have to use these different kinds of titles when you use formal greeting, okay. On the other hand, when you use informal greeting, you use this informal greeting for our intimate friends, lovers, okay, people, those who are very close to us. We use this informal greeting, as I give you some examples, okay. And the last one is some way of introducing oneself. Some ways of introducing oneself. As I told you, when you introduce yourselves, at least you have to mention so many things as much as possible. Someone to understand who you are, okay? So you have to use different expression when you introduce yourselves. From the beginning, you have to start from your names, and at least at the end, you have to mention your ambition, your future plan, okay? So this is what we call it, how to introduce yourselves. So in addition to this, there are some forms of contracted forms. Let me give you those forms before we wind up our programs, okay? You know contracted form? It is a short form of, you know what contracted form? I hope you know in your previous grade what contracted form is, okay? So let me give you some ways of contracted forms. For instance, we are, they are, he is, she is, so can you try to contract these forms? Let me give you the first one, or let me give you one of it and you will try the rest, okay? For instance, how to use this he is. You can say he is. This is a contraction form of the word he is. What about the rest? Would you try? All right. Let me finish. Let us finish together. They are. We are. She is. So this is the simplest way of the contraction forms when you use or when you write some points in your lesson. Okay, this is all about today. Let's wind up our program here. Next time we will meet on the other topics. See you. Bye.